is 11:03. You can probably see all the grease stains behind this kitchen. I caught a nap late in the day because I woke up early and got a little tired and overslept, so now I'm not tired. So then I have to repeat the process tomorrow, find a way to go to bed early because otherwise I'll be up late. I naturally like to stay up late and wake up a little on the later side. I don't like to wake up early, but apparently it's better for you to wake up early and do everything that you're supposed to do in the morning, because there's less lines, there's less everything. But I would like to talk a little bit about law school. I did go to law school. I did not finish. I made it 2 years. And I want to just sit down and have this chat with whoever may be out there thinking, is law school right for me? Or those that are in law school right now and are thinking, I can't do this anymore, I'm done, and then feel bad about it. So I'd like to have that conversation. But before that, let's get comfortable and let's make a little evening drink just to calm the nerves a little. Maybe go to bed. Let's go. A pan, some water. Let's see if I can do this. Then you just put it on the stove, heat it up, and you can put whatever it is you like. Cinnamon sticks, lemon, if you're a tea drinker, whatever. Just put whatever you want in there. I'll probably put maybe some lemon, or if I have cinnamon sticks, I might put some cinnamon sticks in there. I don't like hot chocolate. You might. Okay, take the look at that cup. Changes colors right before your eyes, huh? Got that from a buddy. Thanks. Alright, let's go sit down and have this chat. Law school. Okay. What's that on that TikTok guy? There you go, buddy. Anyways, that's one. It's still too hot. So you're thinking about going to law school. That's great, fantastic. It's higher education, graduate school, very difficult. Here are some things that you should consider if you're going to go to law school. One is going to be your aptitude, your own kind of genius in your brain, I should say. You're going to have to take an LSAT. The LSAT is a test that's just things that deal with logic, reasoning, and your reading comprehension. So you have 3 parts to it. There's going to be one part where you're just given all these questions and you have to reason your way through each question, find the right answer, find the right conclusion, the right logical conclusion or arguments, all these things. There's going to be lots. Second part is going to be like logic games. You're going to be given things like, if Sally sat here and John sits over here, how many seats are in between? And then it just builds from there to the most complicated games, and you have to figure out what's correct. Then reading comprehension, you're given a paragraphs where you're just going to read, give answers. They're going to give you questions on what you read, but not just easy questions. It's questions that also going to test whether or not you know what is being said in the paragraph. All of this stuff is timed, so you gotta be quick. The reason why I mention this is because your LSAT score kind of shows you if you can do law school or not. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. There are some people that score really low and do fine in law school. They bust their butts, they're actually really smart, they just sucked at taking the exam, that's fine. And there are some that do really well on the LSAT, get perfect scores, and they get bad grades because they just don't study hard, or they think they can just bypass all the work because they're just naturally smarter and quicker. Law school rewards being fast. Law school rewards being fast. It doesn't mean that you're any dumber than anybody else. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that there's two types of kind of thinkers. There's the uptick ones and the ones that have to sit there and ponder about things. I'm one of the ones that have to sit there and ponder about things. I need time to digest what it is that I'm reading, what it is to think things over, really just take my time. Law school does not reward that. You have to be quick, you got to be fast. Same in the courts too, you got to be fast, you got to be able to just read something, remember it, start building your arguments and start finding what the reasoning is behind stuff. You'll get rewarded. Do you like reading and writing? It depends on law schools. Law schools have different structures. In our law school, we had to write a lot, right? And just as an attorney, guess what? Most of the stuff you do is going to be writing unless you're just straight to courts and you're just going to take somebody else's writing, read over the arguments, and do that. That's a whole different thing. Maybe I'll do another video on how it's actually set up, lawyering and things. But for law school, you're reading books upon book, just books, case after case. You got to burn through them. This is not leisure reading. You can't just sit there and read quietly, passively, take however long you want, because you have one day to go through 4, 5 classes of just hundreds of pages. One class could assign 100 pages that you have to read in the next 2 days. The other class, same thing, 100 pages. Other class, another 100 pages. So you're constantly just reading. You'll get the textbook, and it's not like college where you're gonna pick a little bit. You'll read the whole book, the entire book, every case. Some professors will do that. Sometimes some professors are a little lenient and just be like, oh, we're just gonna pick from here and here and here. Some will make you read all of it. So part of the other thing is can you handle stress? How well do you handle stress? Because law school, just like any other graduate school, it's tough. You're gonna have to really be able to handle it. When you're sitting in class, it's gonna be stressful. You're not gonna know what you're doing in the beginning, and even later you're not going to know some of the answers that the teacher is looking for, and they're going to put you in a hot seat. The Socratic method is still used widely across law schools. Is it the best way of teaching? Absolutely not. But do they still do it? Yes. You will be sitting there and they will grill you until you don't know. The true Socratic method, teacher's supposed to ask a question, you answer, then it goes just question after question after question. But it kind of is like this hybrid thing where it's guess what the professor is thinking, because they're hiding the ball and you have to guess it, and they'll just keep grilling you until eventually you're just like, I don't know. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're kind of breaking you. So can you handle that? Are you able to do that? The second big thing to think about is the financial cost. The financial cost. Law school is expensive, and depending on which law school you go to, that price only gets higher and higher. Books alone, you're looking at $1,000 a semester in books alone. If you're renting, doing anything, you might save a little bit, it'd be $800. But books are expensive. Tuition is expensive. If you're in state or out of state. If you're out of state, that doubles. If you're in state, let's put it this way. Tuition can cost $20,000 a semester for in-state people. In-state. Out-of-state, that cost goes up. Each law school is different. I think the average law school graduate owes like $180,000 to $200,000 just for law school, right? Some are cheaper, some are more expensive. That's not including your undergraduate degree, because you need to go to 4 years of college to even qualify for law school. So if you took out loans then, you have to add that to the cost. Also know that a lot of attorneys right out the gate don't make a lot of money. They don't hit that 6-figure mark, and you're already looking at being $200,000 in debt. There is financial aid, but those usually come in the cost of loans or half scholarship tuition. But when you go to law school, the first year you actually have this contract that you can't work. because they have an interest in you trying to compete against other students to focus just on law school, especially if they give you money to go there. You have to focus on law school, so you can't have a part-time job. Does everybody abide by that? No, but again, you're competing against other people, so you really have to focus here, or you can lose your scholarship. And some schools give scholarships pretty much to the top 10 in the class. So if you're really striving for that, also think about it for a minute. This is going to be 3 years of your life that you're going to be paying money to, and eventually the second or third year you could probably get a part-time job. You could be working somewhere else, getting money, paying off that undergraduate degree that you got if you didn't get a scholarship or anything, which most people don't. That money could be putting into a home. You could be building. You could be at a job that you'd be making more money than when you actually come out of law school. I mean, believe it or not, there's waiters, because I live in Las Vegas, there's waiters that make more money than attorneys, especially at the high-end restaurants. They take pay cuts to go to law school. So think about that. If you're just starting off, you might want to do that instead. Also, the loans, that's tricky. You can either get a personal loan or you can go and get it from the government. If you get it from the government, guess what? That's a kind of hefty fee. It's like 7% interest. That's a lot, especially looking at $100,000+, because you have to pay for school, and then you have to have living costs because you're not working. You're focusing on school. Some people, like I said, they do work part-time. Most people don't, because they're trying to really do well. Because after you graduate, it matters. It matters how well you did in law school, because you have 0 law experience. Later in life, nobody really cares, especially when you develop a reputation, but that's if you make it all the way and decide to be an attorney for the rest of your life, all that stuff. Anyways, very expensive. That's all I gotta say. Expensive. 3, can you actually finish law school? This one's a tricky one, because when I say that, everyone thinks of themselves as, I can do anything, I can finish anything, as long as you don't quit, you can make it. It's not the case. You may absolutely hate law school. I mean, most people do. There's very few that actually love law school, can't get enough of it. For most of us, we hate law school. It's miserable. You will be depressed. You will have mental breakdowns. I mean, seriously, there's people that have gone to war that just freak out when it comes to law school. It is tough. Life doesn't stop. Think about that. Life doesn't stop when you're in law school. It's not like all of a sudden the heavens open and you're protected for those 3 years because you're going to study law and everything's going to work out. No. You have to think, just in my class alone, people have died. People have got cancer. Parents of people have died, got sick. If you're people who are married, have marital problems, divorces, kids have health problems. You may get a health problem. And most recently, a country could shut down. Your country shuts down. You might have to do school online, and then if you have kids, the world could blow up on you while you're in law school. So ask yourself this question: can I finish no matter what? And that's a question that you're not gonna know until you're in the moment, till it actually happens to you. And hopefully it doesn't. I mean, I'm not trying to doom and gloom. Some people, they go through law school easy peasy, no problems in their personal lives, but most don't. There's always something that's gonna happen. You might have your own mental breakdown where you're just like, I can't do this. Which brings me to the next point is, law school is hard. It is not like anything you've ever experienced. And if you ask anybody who's a practicing attorney or who has finished law school, they understand. It's like if you were in the army or the military, any branch there's a camaraderie there. They're like, oh, I know what you've been through, right? Like the SEALs, they're like, oh yeah. Law school's like that. If you've been in law school, I gotcha. I know what you've been through, right? Same with like people who've gone medical school. They're like, you've been to medical school? Me too. We know. It's tough. And other people don't get it. They just don't, unless they've gone through it themselves. So you're gonna have to think about that, because you're gonna be studying for 3 years. You can get it done sooner, but that means you're taking summer course, like you're loading even more. And if you're that kind of person, law school might be for you. Yeah. But if you're not that kind of person and it's already hard and you're struggling, it's gonna be 3 years of that. Note that in law school, it's a competition. You are divided. Everyone can't get A's. Everyone can't get B's. People are going to get C's, and that's basically like an F in law school. So where do you land on that? You're not going to know until after your first semester. And law school is a place where you could work your butt off and get zero reward for it. Goose egg. You could get nothing. You will not be rewarded for studying long hours. Trust me, a typical day that I did for at least the first year was waking up at maybe 7 or 8, waking up early, going to school, being there about 7 or 8, and not leaving until 10 that night. And then going home, maybe eating and doing more studying, going to bed and repeating the day for the whole year. And I wasn't top. Right? Like it's just hard work doesn't equate to being paid in like A's. It just doesn't work, because you're competing against other really smart people. And what sucks is they may not even be working as hard as you, but they'll still do better, just because, again, it goes back to that aptitude. They're just faster. They got the CPU power right here. It's just processing power. They got it. So you have to think about that. Now, just more at like a personal level, me and you, because you might already be in law school thinking this sucks. We live in a world where you're told not to quit. You just grind it out. Good things will come. But if you've gone to the, there's a lot of blogs and posts out there for people who've quit law school. Just that they just couldn't handle it because of X, Y, and Z. Some crazy things could happen to you in your life, and you just can't finish it. I like to use this analogy because people don't get it. Like when I'm driving in a car, because they get to Las Vegas. I drive from California to Las Vegas a lot, and there's some steep climbs that you have to get to. Cars break down in the heat because it's really hot in the desert here, and it'll just break down. Some people could think, I'm just gonna push on the pedal and drive this car up. We're just gonna burn through it. Come on, car. And then something breaks, steaming everywhere, and they have to pull over, and now their car's broken. They have to be towed. When all they had to do was just stop. If they had just stopped and parked off to the side and just waited till it got cooler, waited till the evening, waited till the car got some rest, and then tried again, it would have been fine. What I mean by that is sometimes pushing makes things far worse than if you just stop for a minute. Think about what it is that you're doing. Think about what your goals are. Readjust to the circumstances and then move from there. Because sure, there may be something wrong with the car, and it would have been better if you just stopped, waited, and then come in. Then drive in, coast in, go see the mechanic, and they'd say, oh yeah, this piece needs to be fixed. But since you didn't and you kept pushing, well, now your whole engine needs to be fixed because it just overheated and everything started cracking, and everything goes, everything basically just blows up in your face. So sometimes you just have to quit. And sometimes you might have to just endure. It's gonna be everybody's individual choice, and depending on your individual circumstances. The point I'm trying to make is just beware of the sunken cost fallacy, because law school is a very big endeavor. You gotta do a lot to get in, and a lot of people don't get accepted. And when you're one of the people that get accepted, it's an emotional roller coaster. You're happy, you're like, I did it. You had to get a 4-year degree, good grades, or you scored really well on the LSAT, which you have to study for, and you gotta go through all those hoops to take that exam. Then you have to get your recommendations, letters, send them out to schools, pay the cost of doing that. And then you have to hear back from the schools, and then you get set up through the school. You got to take out a huge loan, figure out your financials, figure out your financial situation to pay for this big investment. Nobody thinks they're going to fail in law school. Everybody thinks they're going to be top. We're going to do it. I believe in myself. I can do it. I'm not going to quit. Nobody thinks the worst, which is why I'm saying take the time to consider this, because you're not going to know what's going to happen. So there's a huge kind of feeling where you're like, I've put so much effort, work, time, money into law school, I can't quit now, even though it makes me miserable and I hate it. Or because now you have cancer, or you're dying, or someone else is dying, or some life tragedy happens, and you in your mind says, it doesn't matter about that, I'm still going to push forward. Law school just may not be for you. You may not be the one that needs to finish. So think about that. What the sunken cost fallacy is you're not going to quit because you feel obligated to continue, because you put so much time, money, effort into doing this that you have to stick it through, regardless if it's making your life worse. And if it is making your life worse and miserable, why are you continuing this path? Because in your mind, you're just like, well, I'm just going to push forward. No, sometimes it's good to quit. It just depends on your goals. Maybe it changed. Maybe you don't want to be an attorney, and you look at what it really takes to be one, and you go, that's not for me. Why are you going to push through and spend even more money and double down and say, I'm going to try even harder, I'm going to give even more money, and then in the end, you're just like, actually, I don't even want to practice. Hey, but at least you got that degree, right, that you never use, and that you're never going to, because now you've changed goals and decided, you know what, I should have done something else a lot sooner and saved a lot more money. And that's okay. And to make things even more difficult for your choice, you may just have to endure it. You may be someone that actually likes being an attorney but hated law school, and you're not going to know until the end. And then you'll still have to take the bar exam, which good luck, because in certain states, half of you are going to fail it. You know, can't be an attorney. So there's a lot of stress to this. In the end, what I'm trying to say is that really sit down and think what your goals are. There was this YouTube thing, I forget what his name was. Let me see if I can pull it up. Trace Dominguez. Yeah, Trace Dominguez. Not a super big YouTuber, but I liked what he did here. He says, I quit, you should too. It's called The Great Resignation is Coming. Anyways, he talks about why he quit his job and things like that. The idea was that his goals changed. He gives a story about being in track, and that he looked forward to it. He worked hard because as a senior, you can go and do, leadership roles. But then he tells his teacher, which also happens to be one of his favorite teachers, I think in science or something. I don't know. He can tell you his story if you go look at the YouTube thing, a YouTube episode. But he said it was a hard thing and he didn't want to do it. But he had to go and quit. And the reason why was because his goals changed. He actually wanted to be an Eagle Scout, and you have to do it before you're 18, so he had to put a lot of time and effort and work, and he couldn't do both, so he wanted to do the Eagle Scout. That's fine. See, in law school, you may realize, I don't want to be an attorney. I don't have any passion for doing this, and I'm not saying you have to follow your passion. What I mean is just like, you just might be like, I can't see myself doing this. This feels miserable. It feels like I'm building my own prison. Then what is it that you want to do? See, the problem I had was I didn't know what I wanted to do, and law school just seemed like something I wanted to try. It was very apparent that I didn't want to do this anymore, but I pushed through because I was like, I can do it. And as I kept pushing forward, kept pushing to do it, my own personal hectic, hailstorm life just destroyed a lot. And it got to the point where, I had a severe breakdown and was like, I can't do this anymore. Not because I don't want to or because, I don't have what it takes. It's it's hard to describe. And maybe one day I'll tell the story fully, maybe at when I have 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, and tell you what actually happened, but it was enough to just go, maybe it's time to change priorities and do something else because this isn't working. And that's maybe that's what you'll have to go through, and that's what you'll have to do, is change directions. But you can't do it if you're staying on the same path and then you double down and go, well, at least I got the degree, even though I spent a whole bunch of money that could have been invested in my other goal, and I could have done that a lot sooner. But then again, I don't know. I don't know everyone's paths. I just want to let you know that if you are thinking about law school, think hard about it. Really just don't, you're not gonna know until you're in it. So unfortunately, I can't say don't go, because you may love it and you may be a great attorney. Or you may hate it and you may be like, what did I get myself into? But now I can't quit, I gotta see it through. I'll give you one more example of somebody who he went to law school, did everything, dropped out first week, said nope, not for me. Saved a lot of money, did what he wanted to do, became a police officer instead. Another person went for a couple months and said, you know what, or went for almost the whole semester, came finals, gone. Said nope, doing this, became a firefighter. If there's something else in your brain that you know that you want to do, and you got into law school and you want to try it out, because whatever is in the back of your brain, if your brain says nope, law school isn't it, this is really what I want to do, then hey, I can let this path go down to another path, because this is I really want to do this and I don't want to do this. But if you're like me and you don't have anything and you're just going to try it, you're risking it, I'll tell you that, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to end up liking, doing. It's going to be difficult. But these are the things to consider. Consider it and then make your own decision on it. I wish you luck. I hope you can figure out what it is that you want to do. Know that there are a lot of other things you can do. You don't have to be an attorney. You don't have to finish law school. But if you're one of those people that you just want to endure and you can, then go for it. Good luck to you. And I hope that this was able to help you. It probably doesn't help you give a direction on what to do next. There's a lot of other YouTube channels you can watch to do that, because I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that it's okay. It's okay if you want to just stop doing that and do something else. All right. You want to look at the skyline that I have here? I don't know. We can go check it out for a minute. Be at peace. It's kind of like a therapy time if you want to just chill and tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what your life's problems are. What's bothering you? Let's see here. I think my drink's ready now. I need a better lens to capture the actual view of this, because this kind of looks like you're just seeing more like Dutch Brothers, some other places here, rather than like zoomed in. Yeah, like and subscribe.